Alright Nexians, after a few exciting detours into the worlds of weapons of necessity and Pokemon, we are back. We've traded the roar of a barrel and the cry of a Charizard for the silent hum of the digital world. Today, we're not just talking about strength or even raw power. We're moving from the physical roar of a power to the unseen, intricate torrent of data flowing through the deepest circuits of our modern lives. We're talking about the ultimate form of control, the ability to command not just matter, but the very machines that define our existence. Today, we're dissecting the very definition of modern necessity, technokinesis, or the ability to control technology with a thought. So what is technokinesis truly? At its core, it's not merely controlling machines, it's the dominion over the very logic and energy that makes them function. Think about it. While other elemental powers might give you control over matter or energy, a technokinetic commands pure, raw data, the very language of the modern world. They can rewrite the rules of engagement, turning a simple laptop into a weapon, or an entire city into their own personal kingdom. Symbolically, technology is steeped in meaning across cultures and stories. It represents not just power and innovation, but also the spark of genius, information, and control. It's the silent hum of a supercomputer, the brilliant flash of a digital display, and the terrifying cold logic of a machine all rolled into one. How do characters even come to possess such a powerful ability? It's as varied and intricate as the power itself. Sometimes it's a genetic mutation, an inherent gift woven into their very DNA, allowing their mind to directly interface with technology on a subatomic level. Other times, it's an acquired skill, where a character gains the ability through some form of cybernetic augmentation, or a unique form of a tech virus. Each origin story adds another layer to the immense potential of this ability. For all my friends out there who just had their first spark of power, this is for you. Technokinesis is a skill that must be honed and mastered. A true technokinetic doesn't just switch a light on and off, they can plunge an entire city into darkness. So, let's break down your journey from a novice tinkerer to a digital deity.
When you first wake up to this power, you'll feel an innate connection to simple, non-network devices. This is your basic stage. Starting small, focus on a singular object. Can you make a TV flicker without touching the remote? Can you short out a smartphone speaker with just a thought? This is about developing your connection to hardware itself, a mental push and pull with the tangible world of circuits and wires. It's not about complex hacks, but about understanding the raw energy and data flow on a fundamental level. Practice on things like a broken microwave, a flickering lamp, or an old radio. Things without a complex network to mess with. You're building your muscle memory, getting those reps in, and learning how your mind's will can influence the physical world of technology. This is the foundation upon which everything else will be built, so best not to skip this step. Once you've mastered a single device, the next step is to expand your reach. This is the adept stage. Once again, we're starting a little smaller, but this time with a simple network. Can you manipulate all the security cameras in a single room at once? Can you hack into a home Wi-Fi signal to get a glimpse of the information flowing through it? This is no longer about just pushing and pulling. It's about orchestration. You've become a conductor for a digital orchestra. You're learning to differentiate between data streams, to see patterns in the network, and to subtly alter them to your will. This is where you begin to grasp the concept of systems and how to command them. Your biggest challenge here is to not get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information. So start with small, self-contained networks. Now, this is where you stop thinking like a human and start thinking like code. At the proficient stage, you are no longer just controlling devices. You are a presence within the network itself. You learn to infiltrate and manipulate a corporate network, take control of a nation's defense grid, or even subtly alter a person's digital identity. This is the art of becoming a ghost in the machine. rewriting the rules on a grand scale and moving beyond the physical limitations of your body.
You can make an ATM dispense money or cause the stock market to crash. This is a stage where the power becomes truly dangerous because you're no longer manipulating objects but information itself. You have to be careful with your newfound abilities at this stage, however. You might lose yourself if you're not careful. Think of it less as a superpower and more as a new form of existence. You are a hacker on a cosmic scale, and the world is your playground. This is the final level, where you and technology become one. At a god tier mastery, your ability transcends simple manipulation. You can use the internet as an extension of your own consciousness, allowing you to effectively exist as a digital being. This is where you can create sentient AI, manipulate nanomachines to create or destroy, or even use the city's power grid to create a massive EMP wave that shuts everything down. You're not just controlling technology, you are the new evolution of it. You can exist in the network itself, a being of pure data and thought, able to travel anywhere the signal goes. You are no longer bound to be your physical body, and you can affect the world on a global scale. This is the ultimate peak of power, where you are a living, breathing god of the digital age. No power, no matter how great, is without its Achilles heel. Technokinesis is a power of incredible versatility and scale, but that same power is tethered to a world of wires, circuits, and signals. A true master understands not just what they can do, but what can be done to stop them. For all you aspiring technopaths out there, this is where you learn what to watch out for. The most obvious weakness and a true technopath's ultimate fear is a low-tech or a no-tech environment. You can't hack a sword, you can't short out a torch, and you can't manipulate a cave. In a world without technology, a technopath is just a regular person. This is why you often see them trying to get an upper hand in a city rather than in the wilderness. On a smaller scale, even a simple lack of power can be a major problem. If the grid is down or a device's battery is dead, you literally can't influence it. It's an empty shell. Beyond that, there are more direct active counters. The ultimate counter is an electromagnetic pulse, or EMP for short. A strong enough EMP can fry every piece of technology in a wide enough radius, rendering a technokinetic completely powerless in an instant. A technokinetic is also highly vulnerable to viral attacks, as a skilled hacker could literally flood their consciousness with corrupted code, breaking their mind and potentially even causing permanent damage. A technokinetic is essentially a living computer. They are just as vulnerable to viruses and malicious codes as any machine, and a powerful enough virus could cause a mental breakdown, seizures, or even brain death. These are the kinds of attacks that don't just stop your power, but attack the very thing that makes you special. Finally, there's the physical barrier. A device encased in a special Faraday cage or a sealed room can be completely isolated from your influence. To a technokinetic, this is the equivalent of a perfectly insulated wall, a dead zone of no signal and no power. This is why a technokinetic's enemy will often use old, analog technology or even non-electrical components as a way of fighting back against a superior force. If you're going to be a hero or a villain with this power, you need to understand the limitations of the medium. You can't hack what isn't there. Alright, let's get into the deep lore. This is for all my fellow creators out there. We've talked about the science, but what about the magic? Is technokinesis just a superpower, or is it a form of modern day sorcery? This is where we break down the difference between technokinesis and technomancy, and how you can use both to add a whole new layer to your characters. When we talk about technokinesis, we're talking about a science. It's the ability to manipulate the physical and digital world through an innate scientific understanding of it. A technopath who relies on pure kinesis knows the principles of electricity, the logic of binary code, and the fundamental laws that govern the machines they control. Their power is like a master mechanic, but instead of using a wrench, they use their mind. Their abilities are precise and predictable. They follow a set of rules. But when we talk about technomancy, we're entering a different territory entirely. This is where the power starts to feel more like magic. A technomancer doesn't just understand the code, they can feel the soul of the machine. Their abilities are often intuitive, more about creative expression than cold logic. They might be able to summon a digital spirit to do their bidding, create a weapon out of pure energy, or even weave an illusion out of a city's network of lights. Their power is chaotic, unpredictable, and often has a visual flair that a pure technopath might lack. Think of it this way. A technopath can hack a car and make it turn left. A technomancer can bring the car's AI to life and make it sing a little song. This distinction is the secret ingredient that can turn a simple superpower into a fascinating, deep, and creative character. It's what separates a master of the machine from a true deity of technology. Every great power has its iconic users, characters who defined the ability and used it to change their world. So let's get a few key players on the board. And starting this off is Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. Motoko is the pinnacle of a technopath who is more machine than human. A full-body cyborg who can hack into the minds of others and the global network with a single thought. She doesn't just use technology, she is an integral part of it, a ghost haunting the machine. Next up, we have Rex Salazar from Generator Rex. For all you OGs who remember this show, you know who I'm talking about. Rex is an Evo who can summon and manipulate complex machines and weapons out of his body. He's a walking, talking technopath who can create anything from a battle axe to a jetpack. He's a perfect example of a character who embodies the fusion of biology and technology, making him a true architect of the algorithm. Next up, we have Trinity from The Matrix. Trinity is an icon of the hacker subculture, able to manipulate the rules of the Matrix to her will. Her ability to crack complex systems, alter code, and even manipulate the laws of the simulated world makes her a perfect example of a character who uses Technokinesis to bend reality. On the topic of the Matrix, let's talk about Neo. Neo's powers within the Matrix are the ultimate form of Technokinesis. While he initially just learns to bend the rules, he eventually transcends them, learning to fly, stop bullets, and manipulate objects and people within the digital world with his mind alone. He is a prime example of a technopath who has not only mastered the power, but has become the living embodiment of it. Pressing play on video games, we have Sombra from Overwatch. She's a master of infiltration and espionage. Her ability to hack her enemies, disrupt their abilities, and teleport away with a single thought makes her a terrifying technopath. She doesn't just control technology, she weaponizes it, making her a perfect example of how this power can be used in fast-paced, high-stakes battle. Right after that, we have Legion from Mass Effect. Legion is a Geth unit, a sentient machine that represents the full, unadulterated power of Technokinesis. As a single consciousness made up of thousands of individual minds, Legion can access and control the entire Geth network, making it a master of both information and weaponry. Legion is a true example of how a technopath can become more than just a person. They can become a god of their own kind. How can we talk about Technokinesis without Cyborg? Victor Stone is one of the most famous technopaths in all of fiction. After a tragic accident, Victor was rebuilt with cybernetic parts, giving him the power to interface with any technology. He can hack into any computer, access any database, and use his powers to manipulate technology to his will, making him a cornerstone of the Teen Titans and eventually the Justice League. Last, but certainly not least, is Blue Beetle or Jamie Reyes. Jamie is a teenager who finds a mysterious scarab that grafts itself onto his back. The scarab is an alien piece of technology, which gives him a powerful suit of armor and the ability to interface with technology on a deeper level. He is a perfect example of a technopath who uses their power to become a hero, even when the power itself has its own agenda. And just for a few honorable mentions, we have Cable and Vision from the Marvel Comics. Cable is an ultimate soldier from the future who uses his technokinesis to fight for a better world, and then Vision, our synthetic android who can interface with and control technology, making him a perfect example of a peaceful yet terrifying technopath. So, where does Technokinesis land? We've seen its incredible utility, its terrifying offensive and defensive potential, and a level of scalability that makes it one of the most powerful abilities in all of fiction. A true technopath is not just a fighter, they're a living, breathing network, a god in a world of mortals. For all that, I'm giving Technokinesis a final score of 22 out of 25 points, officially ranking it in the A tier. And that, Nexians, is our final verdict on Technokinesis. It's a power that's not just about controlling a machine, it's about controlling a world that is becoming more and more machine every single day. In a way, a technopath is the ultimate IT guy, and they've just given you a whole new meaning to have you try turning it off and on again. But now, I turn the mic over to you. What do you think about my final verdict? Did I miss a crucial user that defines this power? Which one of the tiers would you want to master the most? And what other essential powers should we break down next? Leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you for joining me in the Nexus. Stay wired, and this is your captain, signing off.